Inspiration with me, Charly Leetham, episode number 532 today. And we are going to be doing more in Zoho Mail. There's a lot to cover in all of these clients that we use on a regular basis. And I thought doing like a whole series of them and getting them all together might be really useful. So Zoho Mail is the one I've chosen for now. If you want, Google or Outlook, I've already done a whole heap of those throughout the podcast. I will go back and do more on them, but today we're going to do Zoho. Today, in fact, we are going to be looking at the filters, the rules that you can set within Zoho Mail, and how that might help you with your automation, with your email management, with being able to keep yourself on top of your inbox. Because there is nothing worse than coming in and having thousands of emails in your inbox, some of which you just don't need to touch, some of which you absolutely need to know about, and some of which are, I've got to get to that eventually. So let's pop into my Zoho Mail account. Let's have a look at what we've got in there and how we can do this. There we go. So we are in my Zoho Mail inbox. I am actually in all messages now, not unread. If you've been watching along, I was in unread. I've dropped into all messages, mostly because we've read these ones and I don't want to mark them as unread. We're not going to be looking at anything more today than just looking at the rules, the filters that you can set on emails. So the first thing I should point out is, in this view here, you can right click on an email and you get a little sub menu up. We've got this add to, and we can add it to a filter. So we're not going to do the mail. Oh goodness. Just be careful where you click. We're not going to do the mailer daemon. We're going to do this welcome to Zoho Mail, okay? Right click on it. And down here, we've got this add to. We can add to filters. We can add it to a whole heap of things. We're going to click on filters, and we're going to add a filter for it. And then I'm going to show you how you can get into the filters and manage it, and maybe set up filters in bulk for yourself. So I'm going to click on add to filters. That pops up this little window here that says filters, okay? It's a welcome email, but it's not welcome. What we're going to do is we're going to say from zoho.com, okay? Now, few options we have here. We've got condition type, any of these conditions, all of these conditions, advanced conditions, or no conditions. So any of these conditions are or. So it's if this thing, or this thing, or this thing. If any of those are true, run this rule. This one says all the conditions. So it's if this thing and this thing and this thing are true. All of those conditions have to be true. The advanced conditions could be if this and this, or this and this, or this and this, or this. So you can start to, if these two conditions are true, or this condition is true, or these conditions are true. If any of these sets of conditions are true, match and run the filter. This one's a little bit not tricky. You've just got to get your head around what and be very, very specific in what you want your conditions to be. No conditions. It says just everything that's coming in is going to get this rule. I can't think off the top of my head of a rule that I would want to set that applies to all emails. I am sure there is a really good use case for it. I just can't think of it, and that's neither here nor there at this point. Okay, so the filter name we've looked at the condition type. We're going to say match all of the conditions. Now, when you say add this to a filter, the system itself tries to work out what it is you're filtering for. So in this case, it says if the subject is welcome to Zoho Mail, remember this is and the from address contains welcome@zoho.com, and the to or CC contains my email address, do this. I don't want to do that. I don't want it to be so specific. What I want to capture is any message from zoho.com. So I'm going to get rid of the two conditions by clicking the little garbage tin, trash can to the right-hand side of the condition. And we're just going to work with this one. It says here if the from address contains welcome@zoho.com. But I want this to be from zoho.com. So I'm going to get rid of the welcome at. And what this says is if the from address contains zoho.com, so anything from zoho.com, we have an action we can do. We can move it to a folder, which I'm absolutely going to do. We don't have a folder created. I wonder if I can create a folder here. I can. If I want to create a folder, it's always I use so many systems, I can never remember what functions work where, and sometimes I just got to go test them. So if it looks like I don't know what I'm doing, well, maybe I don't. And it could also just be that maybe I'm confused as to which system I'm using. So move to a folder, select a folder. The folder I want isn't here. So I'm just going to select Zoho. Okay, I'm going to create a folder called Zoho. I'm going to say create because it doesn't exist and I've typed it in the search bar. I've got the option to create it. So I'm going to create it. You'll see it says move to folder Zoho. Okay, so when this comes in and it's anything from zoho.com, it's going to move it to the folder Zoho, which means it's going to take it out of the inbox. Maybe we don't want it to go do that. In this case, I do. The other thing I'm going to do, because I'm quite funny about these things. Let's just say I'm funny about these things. I'm going to create a tag. I'm going to say tag it as and under select tag, we'll drop it down. I don't have any tags and I'm going to tag it as Zoho. And the best thing about this is you can color code your tags. So we give it a funny purpley color and click create. So now when an email from zoho.com comes in, it's going to get moved to the Zoho folder. It's going to tag it as Zoho. There are other actions we can add. We can flag it. So flag means, let's just go through them. Info, important, follow-up. We're not going to do any of these. We can flag it. We can automatically mark it as read. We can forward an email to, I'm going to cover this one. I'm probably going to do an entire video on this one because when you forward an email, if it's within your organization, I don't think, you probably have to verify that you're allowed to forward it to that email address. So we're going to do that one separately. You can set a reminder. So what that means, it will snooze it and it will then pop up and say, you've got to read this email. Okay, really, there's some really nice features in here. You can send an auto response. So if you've got a specific person that you need to send responses to and you don't want to use the out of office response, you can actually send an auto response yourself. You can add the mail as a note. You can add the mail as a task. You can delete it after a certain number of days. Please excuse me while I take sips of my drink. I do have a slightly sore throat and I'm just trying to keep it lubricated. Delete it after a certain number of days. So considering your inbox, and if you don't get to it, it'll just delete it. I'm not sure I'm fussed on that idea. I'm sure there's a use case for it, but don't add attachments to the attachment viewer. So remember I showed you the attachment viewer a couple of episodes ago. If you don't want it to be in the attachment viewer, you can say, look, I don't want to see these attachments in the viewer. I'm not going to go through custom functions. This is a set of functions that you can organize to do your own thing. The ones that I really, really, really love is that you can choose to add your email and the attachments automatically to your cloud storage. And when you say add to Dropbox, you can say only add the attachments. You can put the email and an attachment as a .eml file, or the email as a HTML file and the attachment file. Really, really powerful stuff when you want to make sure that you're saving your attachments out. Okay, so that's your actions. Now, the next thing we have here is do not process other filters for matching conditions. So what it says is once it gets to this filter, if this filter is true and it does something, stop processing, don't do anymore, don't pass go, don't collect $200. If you have other rules in your list, and we will cover this, but if you have other rules in your list that you want to run as well, you need to uncheck this. I'm going to tell you that 99% of the time it's going to be one rule for an email and that's it. And you can just leave this checked. Here's something that I really love on this is you can run the existing emails through this filter. So I'm going to check it. And what this says is that So this is an incoming mail filter, okay? Mail that comes in will be filtered against this and see if it matches these rules. It doesn't run on the existing folders unless on existing mail, unless you do this thing here, unless you check this and say, run it through this filter. You'll see here you've got a choice to select folders and you can check as many folders as you like. Is that right? Can I only do one at a time? You can only do one at a time. That's a shame. Okay, so we'll click it on inbox and we'll say run it through the inbox, okay? Make sure everything's right. Click on save. And yep, okay, cool. A couple of things that's happened here. First of all, you'll see that this email, I'm in the all messages box, so it will see all messages regardless of what folders they're in. You'll see here it says, welcome to email, blah, blah, blah. Zoho.com is on, or the Zoho tag is on there. If I head down to my Zoho folder, you see it's created a Zoho folder. Now the emails are in there. And if I click on my inbox, the only thing that is in there is this one that doesn't match it because it's Zoho accounts. So that's how you can create a folder just from messages in your inbox or in your folders. You look at it like, I just want to set a filter to get all of these. That's one way of doing it. The other way you can do it is create your filters on their own. Now, the way I would do that is come to settings, and then in the search bar, you can scroll down and look for it, or you can type in filters and click on filters. Okay, now that we've done that, you'll notice that there's 2 extra filters in here we have not discussed, so we're gonna do those in a minute. But here's the filter we just set. The priority, the location for where it is, we can drop it down if we want. We can put it wherever we want in this list, except for oh no, we can break it there. That's cool. So you can move it to a priority. Remember where we said stop processing this filter, and I said you could actually have others processing. It will only process things after this, so you've got to make sure you've got your order correct. You'll also notice here it says mail count and it's got 4. It tells us how many emails this filter has captured. You can do, once you're in here and you've got the filter set up and you forgot to say run it on the folders, you can say apply to existing emails here on the little funnel. Click on that, choose which folder like I said, you can only do it on one folder at a time. Choose which folder you want to run it on. It will run it on it. Now, this is where it gets really exciting. If you want to duplicate that and just edit it for a new email, you can, and you can delete it, or you can just disable it as well. If you're having trouble and you're not sure if it's this filter causing problems, you can just disable it. So these are incoming mail filters, okay? These are for things that come into your inbox. You'll notice that we have 2 here that are automatically set. It says here automated email alerts, and they're yellow. That tells us that they're system alerts. They're designed by the system. If we go in and have a look at it, we don't get to see what it is. It's called a smart filter. And it says if it looks like it's a newsletter, move it to the newsletter folder. We don't actually get to see what the rule is. And it says here, if it looks like it's a notification, move it to the notification. I'm not fussed on this because I'm very anal. I'm very, very, very organized, and I like to have my things sorted out. So you can turn off smart filters. I believe we can turn off smart filters. And if we just type in smart, you see we've got smart filters here. We click on that option. Did I miss it? Oh, you just turn them off. Highlight them, mouse over them, and you can just, if I got my mouse registration right, wouldn't it? Just turn them off. and now they're disabled. They're not going to run. So you can disable the smart filters if you want. In fact, also up here, you've got smart filters. Turn it off, and that'll turn all your smart filters off as well. So that's incoming filters. You can create a new filter just by clicking on create new filter. It is exactly the same options that you have when you go in the other way. Remember that when you do a contains, you can just put a test up here because it's going to. When you do a from address, if you do a contains, you can just do askcharlyleetham.com. I'm actually going to do an advanced condition here, and I'm going to say or contains star.askcharlyleetham.com. Now, what does that do? Charlie, why would you do that? Well, what this does is this captures any emails that comes from the base domain name askcharlyleetham.com in this case. This or says if it contains star dot, so anything that comes from a subdomain will be captured here. Okay. In fact, they're the only two I'm going to do, so I'm just going to make it a standard. We're not going to do another smart filter. We're just going to do a standard. So it's if it comes from askcharlyleetham.com or if it comes from a subdomain on askcharlyleetham.com, this will trigger. The reason I'm showing you this is there's lots of companies that and it's actually really good business practice. It's really good mail practice to have your mail come from a subdomain and not your main domain. So a lot of companies have set up their emails to come from subdomains. And if you don't have the subdomain captured, it may not actually trigger the filter. So that's one reason why I do that. I'm not going to finish this. I mean, it's all the same with the filters. You've got all your options there. I'd highly recommend playing around with them and seeing what works for you and what doesn't work for you. Remembering that you can also run them on a folder once you've got them set to see if they actually trigger, which is a great way of testing them. Outgoing mail filters. Again, this is very similar to incoming, but this is for mails that go out of your system, so mails that you send. There's no mail, so we're just going to add one. Let's have a look and see what we've got. Test. So we can do it from a from address, so we can put, from info at info, blah, 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 blah. We can move it to a folder that might be info sent rather than just the info box. It'll move it to the info sent box for us. So we can actually start to divide up. These messages went from info. These messages went from contacts. What else can we do? If the subject line is this, if the to is this. So if it has going from to a particular client, you can to a client email, you can add tags to it maybe. You can forward it to, can we forward it to someone from here? Auto BC. So you can do auto CC, auto BC. You can add a signature. You can add a receipt. Don't add. You can create a custom function. You've got so many options here. You can't forward it because you would auto CC. So you'd send a CC to someone. So auto CC and copy someone on it. So you don't have to have it in the CC box. It will automatically do it yourself. If it's got a priority, if it's got a priority of high, you might want to work out these custom functions and I don't know, add it to your calendar, have it add a calendar event so that it reminds you. All sorts of things you can do, but you can actually set filters for outgoing mail, which not every system will allow you to do. You'll notice also, just as a final on the filters, we've got filter suggestions here, and you'll see that it's saying that if it's to me, if it comes into one of these two, you can do something with it. I don't see the need to. It goes into your inbox and we can manage it far better by being more granular in our incoming email filters. Okay. Okay then. So that was a bit of more information for you, a bit more how to use the Zoho interface a bit better, a bit more. Filters are really powerful. If you're watching this video and thinking, gee, I wonder if I can do that on Outlook or Google or one of my other mail programs, the answer is yes. Most of these programs have things called filters or rules. It depends. Sometimes they're called something else entirely different, but most systems have something similar. They all do them in slightly different ways. Sometimes they don't have the same functionality that sometimes they don't have the same levels of functionality. Some functionality is missing, some functionality is there, they've got different functionality as well. But that's how you do it with Zoho. Filters are, honestly, they're an absolute godsend as far as I'm concerned. They are such a productivity booster when you're trying to manage mail and you're trying to manage a lot of mail, and all you want to really see is the stuff that's important to be actioned today, in the near future, and still have all of that other informational stuff coming in that you want to go and look at later, but you don't need it cluttering your inbox to distract you while you're trying to get your work done. What do you guys think? Thoughts, comments, feedbacks, questions, whatever. Leave them in the comments wherever you are watching or listening to this video. Come across and join me in my community, askcharlyleetham.locals.com, designed for business owners who want to get a better handle on their tech and the things they can do with the tool sets they're running. If this video was useful to you, please give it a like. And if you haven't already, please do subscribe to the channel, ring the notification bell to find out when I drop more content. And guys, I will see you all tomorrow. Bye. Hey there, thanks so much for tuning in to Rise and Shine, your daily business tech boost. I hope today's episode gave you some actionable insights that will make your business tech work smarter for you. If you found value, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with other small business owners who could use a daily boost. For more tips, tools, and resources, visit www.askcharlyleetham.com. Until next time, keep rising, keep shining, and let's make tech simple together.